Right, those of you that are planning on watching what's going on in the background, and to be fair, there's not a lot of it going to be going on, this is going to be mostly talking, you'll know that that screen is wrong. I've come back to do this clip just to add a little bit more. The first thing I've got to say is we've gone from a very small channel with just 100 or so subs, well on our way to our first goal, which is 1,000 subs, and that's great. We thank you so much for watching, and thank you for the feedback, the interaction, and keep at it, guys. If you're consuming the content, we'll produce it. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy explaining things a lot, explaining the things we do, and that's awesome. Thank you so very much. I believe someone linked one of our videos to one of their own. I can't quite remember who that was that did that off the top of my head. I will find out who that was, and I'll make sure that they get the thanks they deserved. But yeah, great, awesome. We're on our way. We're getting somewhere. The more you guys watch, the more you interact, the more feedback we get, the better we can make these videos. I know I've been on a break. I touched on that on the video. It's been probably getting close to about a year since we've done any real proper content, and as I say, using Adrian Black's term, the human malware really has caused us a lot of trouble. I can't complain. We've actually, unlike many companies in the UK that have been hit by lockdown, had one of our busiest years ever. Between my son being off, my partner having to work up here in my office as well, it's not really been the right setup, and we've been busy enough that my video area is just a bomb site at the moment, which is why you're not getting the CMTS video right now. So thank you again. More talking now, I'm afraid, from me from 15 minutes ago, but it'll explain where we're going to go with these instructional videos. So thanks again, everyone. Like, share, subscribe, get our name out there, and we can do better stuff for you. Thank you. Hi guys. So this is the start of a series of videos I'm planning on doing. A lot of you have asked for more information about things like the VDSL video we did on actually how it all bolts together software wise, how we set it up. We now have a CMTS, so we're going to do the same for cable as well. So what we need to do is build a virtual system up that we can use, a little lab if you like, to provide all the back-end services. And rather than saying as we did with the VDSL video where we give you the basics of how it all goes together, all the wiring, incidentally that is a dog walking around behind me. That's not a Velociraptor, don't panic. She knows if she needs attention that she needs to click her claws on the floor. Anyway, we want to go into more detail on how to actually bolt it all together into a usable system. We've had to have a talk with the other directors about this for the company, because obviously potentially we could be setting ourselves up for giving some stuff away for the competition. So the way I will walk you through it is not necessarily the way that we would do it. There is a lot of things that we do and a lot of stuff in more depth that we go into to make the systems work the way we want to. So what we'll do is we'll give you the basics to get you running, and then you've got to go from there. So this clip, basically I'm just going to have a quick go through the lab system. I'm still setting it up, how we do it, explain why a few things are the way they are. For example, the rather obvious, horribly out of date Debian install, and also the same with the Windows installation. We're using Windows 7. There are reasons for it. I'll explain that shortly. So the basics behind this is we have a VMware ESXi 6 server. Again, it's an older version of VMware. That's basically because we have a spare license for that. We use a lot of it, but our dev licenses are tied up somewhere else. So this is just one spare license that we've got that we can use for this. And again, we don't want to give too much away. So all we've got on here is a fairly simple install. We have a basic Debian installation here. We have a pfSense firewall, which of course there is not really much to see there. and a half installed Windows 7. So Debian 8, why are we going with that? Simple reason, Debian 8 has been out there for a long time. It's well known, it's well documented. Yes, it is technically obsolete, but a lot of guides and a lot of information are written with 8 in mind. Part of the reason that I've gone this route and I'm not using Bleeding Edge is to make these videos easier. With a lot of this stuff where you're working around the edge, the documentation isn't great. So something that the documentation tells you will be a 2 or 3 minute job can end up taking you quite a lot longer, especially if you're on a Bleeding Edge install and the documentation is for several installs earlier. There's not a lot of information about for some of this stuff, so I mean we're looking at setting up the CMTS on the next video, the one that will follow this and the one that we're doing this for. There's very little information on how to set a cable internet provider up. Surprisingly enough, there's only one company in the UK that really wants to do it, possibly two. That'll be KCOM and Virgin, and this makes actually getting hold of some of the equipment quite difficult as well. There's lots of smaller cable providers around in the States, but really most companies in the EU, most countries in the EU and the UK, sorry, there's really only one company that's doing it in each given country, and we found this trying to get hold of some of the parts. And now I've lost where I was going, but yeah, so that's why we've gone with Debian 8. Then we have a incomplete Windows 7 install here. The reason again for this is the same as everything else. Let's just get this going. Yeah, we'll ignore that all for now. That's all fine. That's all fine. But the reason we're going with Windows 7 is it has less surprises than Windows 10, and again, it's ease of use. This system will potentially have access to the internet, but it's going to be going through 2 firewalls to do it. It'll be going through the lab firewall, it'll be going through our own network firewall as well, so it's fairly well isolated. But again, Windows 7 is predictable. We know what it's going to do. We know it's not going to do an update mid-video. We know it's not going to do any of the weirder stuff that Windows 10 does with networking, so that's why we've gone with 10. The PF is fairly standard, it's nothing special. Let me just get VMware Tools running here. It just makes life slightly easier. So these are all virtual machines, as you've probably guessed. If you've not got experience with VMware, then certainly for a lab point of view, it's worth doing. All of these machines we have snapshots of, so when I finish the CMTS video for you, we'll roll back to the snapshots and we'll be at a fresh start for everything else. Let's just find out why we're not getting VMware Tools installed here. There we go. So it makes our life easier, and if you're doing a lot of lab type work, then the ability to roll back to a previous point or roll back to a fresh machine is really quite useful. On top of this machine we have a 10 port, so 8 Ethernet ports and 2 SFP ports, TP-Link switch. This is breaking out the single network card in our VMware server to multiple networks. We have that configured a specific way at the moment. If we wait for this to make sure it's going to go, it is. We've got to escape out of these screens every time at the moment until VMware Tools is in. So if we have a quick look and have a look at our network setup in here. So we have one network adapter that's connected to the outside world, and then we have multiple VLANs on here. So the network called LAN at the moment is currently our actual office LAN. All of our work is going to be done on internal LAN, which you can see is a VLAN. That breaks out to 2 physical ports actually on the switch. The same with VLAN 20. VLAN 30 only has 1 port. What we may use that for is a satellite feed or something like that to do load balancing stuff, or potentially we might do a Starlink walkthrough using that as well. So it's fairly flexible. We've got web access, internet access, and access for management via our LAN here, and then the rest of this is locked away and managed by the firewall, which currently is only managing the one network, I believe. Yes, so we're only managing LAN. The other thing with using VMware is you can get in here and you can make constant changes. So we are going to need access to the other networks on here. So we can just go through, pick the network we want, add it in, done. I need to add both of these, so we'll just quickly do that. With some operating systems, or depending on which adapter type you choose, the network card will show up instantly. In this case it won't, so while everything else is busy we'll do a reboot there. Turn numlock on, and we just want to reboot normally, so that's rebooting now. So yes, this is the format we're going to use for going through the lab, the software setup, things like that. We'll still get video from over on the bench because I will need to walk you through things there as well. We probably won't do many of these videos because the production of these is going to be quite involved, because there's going to be sections filmed here like this with me sat in front of the computer. There'll be sections over on the bench. It's all going to be edited and things are going to go wrong. I know that I've got a DHCP issue I need to look at before I go too much further in this, and I need to run through things like the setup and the front panel on the CMTS. So it's non-trivial. It's not quite as easy to do as the other videos. There's a lot more to go into them, so there probably won't be as many of these, but to be fair, I've got CMTS to do. I've got the Huawei VDSL, which I will do. I will probably do one of the Versa DSLAMs as well, just to be complete, and there won't be much of this. I might do some funky stuff with PF. I'm probably going to do a walkthrough on the TP-Link cloud stuff in the next couple of weeks, because I've got a hell of a lot of that to go in. I know people absolutely love Ubiquiti. We hate it. The TP-Link stuff is awesome. That's just my opinion. Others are available. So we'll probably look at that. Home Assistant is probably something we might touch on as well. We use that quite a lot, and we've got some outdoor stuff that we'll be looking at as well. So we've got a couple of temporary CCTV installs, which I will probably take you along with. But all of these will be slightly more in depth than the usual videos, which means they'll be longer. There'll be stuff in front of a screen like this. Where's my mouse gone? And generally just longer to produce. I will keep the teardowns and other stuff coming. We've still got lots of those planned, and obviously we've got this huge stack of stuff we need to go through. We've got repair videos we'll do as well. It's just with things being the way they are, as Adrian from Adrian's Digital Basement says, with the human malware kicking around, it's really messed with stuff. For us, it's been the opposite of most companies. We've been absolutely flat out. We have a medical side to the business, which is probably quite heavily contributed to that. So yeah, so let us know what kind of detail you want, how far you want us to drill down in this. The idea is, certainly with this CMTS video and with the Huawei and with the Versa videos, at the end of it you should have everything you need to take what we've done and put it in and make your own systems work. The drive for this is mostly the poor documentation, and we found a lot of gotchas. We do have a website or we obviously have a company website, but I do have a personal website where I post a lot of the stuff that I don't necessarily think is worth a video, but I know people are looking for. There's stuff on there about factory resetting phones that are vendor locked, IP phones. There's all the walkthrough for the Versa DSLAMs, and I will pop that link on the screen now, and you can go there and have a look. I don't check the comments on that site often, mostly because I don't get notifications. The amount of spam that WordPress sites attract, I can't keep on top of it, but I do check occasionally, normally when I sign in to post something else up. But for now, I think that's probably it for this. I think we're all probably completely bored of talking head videos, or not talking head videos, but just plain videos like this. I ain't going to be doing any talking heads because I do not do video presentations. But yes, I just walk through, make sure this is all done. So that's our PF box. The other handy thing I've just touched on it in there, the other handy thing with having a lab set up like this is that I rebooted that, didn't I? That's why that's fallen over. Is that, for example, the resetting IP phones, you can build a complete environment. One of the things we looked at was resetting Cisco IP phones tied to the Vodafone network. So we are able to recreate in this little setup the entire Vodafone network and then get the phones to pull down a config file that we want them to use. So it's handy to have a little environment like this. That is just a core. It's nothing special, that machine. Where are we? Let's have a look. So yeah, it's just second gen Core i5. It's nothing special. There's only 6 gigs of RAM in it, but it's enough to do stuff like this. And going with a lower processor like this means that it's fairly low power consumption, so it's something that can sit there and chunt it to itself. So anyway, I will leave you there. I will edit this and get it uploaded. I think the only thing left to do here now is thank you to all the new people that have joined us. You have absolutely blown my socks off. I don't know how we got that much further, as in new viewers, than we did. Oh, I know what's going on here. So yeah, I'm going to stop this now. I'm going to start the next recording and try and undo that mess.